Oh, this is complicated. It's very complicated. But this is the type of ignition I'm using. MSD 6AL. Part number is 6420. I hope I'm doing this right, but it's actually got little chips that you install. I've installed the 6000 one. That's 6,000 RPM. This thing will rev limit to 6,000 RPM. Now, if you are running points on a points driven car, not a pointless car, but a point driven distributor, you will have 6 wires coming from this MSD. 7 wires coming from this MSD that you will use. Okay? One of them is your ground. One of them, this long one here, is your positive, which I'm going to have to cut and splice over to the positive. And then you got 2 wiring harnesses, if you will. Okay? Now let me tell you. Let me get the instructions out here. Bring you guys along with this little ride. Okay. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm also using a Blaster 2 MSD coil. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a tachometer wire. Okay. $50 to $60,000 spark gap. I already have my gap preset for all my spark plugs. Now, this is actually on the side of it, as you can see right there. Cylinder's 8. You don't want to cut any loops. If it's a 6-cylinder, you cut the red loop. Okay. If it's a 4-cylinder, you cut the red and blue loop. You cut both of them, but here I only cut the red. And then you turn them opposite one another. You turn these opposite so they don't touch. But this is all you have to do for this MSD system here, which I have mounted, as you can tell. I mounted it where the spare tire used to be, on rubber grommets. So, power lead. Two heavy gauge leads, okay? You have a heavy red lead, which is your positive. It goes right to your battery. Heavy black lead goes to the terminal, negative on the battery. A red wire, okay, which is that red wire right there, goes to a 12-volt switched source, such as the ignition key switch, which I actually have that right here. This red wire right here is a 12-volt source that comes off the ignition. Orange. Okay, then you have a orange and black together. Okay. Orange goes to the positive in the coil, black goes to the negative. Orange goes to the positive, black goes to the negative of the coil. Bam, right there. Just like that, okay? And you have trigger wires. For me, because I have one wire coming out of this distributor, I only have to worry about one thing. White wire. This white wire right here goes to the one trigger wire coming out of the distributor, which is this one. Pretty sure that's how it goes. So, a mess of wires. I'm going to start connecting all my wires and see what happens. Alright, there's my MSD. Let's see if I can get the coil wire. Right there, see that little black notch? That is for a tachometer. So, that wire coming off there is for like Petronix ignition, which I don't use. So, I got my little rubber grommet there. It's mounted. That's it. Crack her up. Maybe in about a week or two. I'm still waiting on my carburetor spacers, my 2-inch carburetor spacers. Alright, I'm going to wire this all together. I got to put my LED taillights in too. Slowly but surely, we'll get it fired up. Alright, see you in a bit. I'll get you with this wiring.